If you're just in a place where you haven't got anyone in the team yet and you're starting to get too busy, don't wait for it to be at a point where it's too late and you're bumping over yourself and dropping the ball for clients. If you're going to grow, you're going to have someone in your team. You're going to have a team. You're going to grow through it. If you're going from established producer to business owner, you really got to start thinking about what's the org chart I'm trying to build for my business, not from the frame of, oh, I'm busy, I need help. And that in itself is a first way to think about it. I mean, if you're producing, you've got delivery to clients and you've been a planner and advisor for a number of years, starting to roll, and you're still doing all the stuff yourself, that's going to be the limiting factor. And as soon as you can start to bring someone onto the team, then you're going to be able to reinvest your time. A couple of things we fall down on the way from a psychological perspective that we always tend to think about in or out. We've got it all, we haven't got any. And so if we're like, oh man, we need that, and I wish I had some more time, but I can't afford that first assistant, or man, like it's going to cost, right? First of all, the cost mindset's going to get you. So you want to think about the investment mindset. So can you get your time back, which is worth much more there would be for someone to come do some of that service work. And also, it's not an in or out. It's not, okay, well, suddenly I've got no cost in terms of salary, and now I've got 6 figures, something like that. It's not like that. We've got to think about how might you transition it through, right? It's not a on and off switch. It's more like a dimmer switch. Okay. So what do you actually need if you're going to go down that road? I'm going to think about what's the thing that actually bothers you the most. My director of operations has been with me for a couple of years, and it took me a while to realize the thing that actually she would be doing that gave me the most relief in the start, which was quite simply understanding my scheduling, understanding what am I doing with my day and thinking out and being proactive with my advisors going forward. And even though she's working on other things, which is super valuable for the business, it wasn't the right thing at the right time. The right thing at the wrong time, probably the wrong thing. So if you're just in a place where you haven't got anyone in the team yet and you're starting to get too busy, don't wait for it to be at a point where it's too late and you're bumping over yourself and dropping the ball for clients. If you're going to grow, you're going to have someone in your team. You're going to have a team. You're going to grow through it. And so as soon as you realize that, as soon as the opportunity is to have someone do that, because the sooner you do that, the sooner you'll benefit from them being in the team. And you'll be able to buy some time back to reinvest into activities that only you can do, which is going to grow the business even more as well. Not necessarily do you have someone full-time or a big salary or any sort of salary. I would think about always, how do we create owners in our business as well? I think if they're coming in to do your calendar, it doesn't matter what they're doing in terms of like the overall task, but I think about that in function, not just in task activity. Having that someone come in and say, okay, I need you to do this. And this is how much I've got to pay for that, or what's available for right now. Does this fit with you? And I want to think about this from a long-term perspective as well. This immediate part is, how do you buy back your time? And as soon as you can buy back your time, let's just say, for argument's sake, that it's $30 an hour, $40 an hour, $50 an hour for a round number that you're paying someone in order to do your scheduling. And maybe that gives you 10 hours a week back. Those 10 hours a week, when you invest them back into your business, are they worth more than $50 an hour? You want to hope that they are. And that's the starting point in order that you can start to buy that back as well. And so think about the structure of bringing the right people in the team. Now, you're not going to always hit it out of the park, but you want to think about playing long-term games with long-term people. I love that quote. If you can't work with someone for 30 years rather, don't work with them for 30 minutes. And the point of that is that you want to be thinking long-term and not just a quick, what can they do for me right now position. And so as you're hiring a team, that's the perspective you want to take. And so even if that person is coming in to do a relatively low-level activity, super valuable in business, but someone that can get trained on that pretty quick, that's okay. You want to think about it long-term perspective as well. At least how that person could grow in the role, what they could do going forward. Also, you're going to get a real feel and idea if they want to be with you long-term. And sometimes it might be okay if you know for sure that they want to be there for a year or two. At least that would be part of the plan to where you want to get to as well. The first things first would be to understand in that next first person in to your business and think of it like you're the business owner, not just the advisor who needs help. First things first. That's the person you need to hire. And ideally, you'd hire that person with a COO or a chief of staff or a director of operations thought process in mind. As they grow, they can start to think about the function. The key piece here in setting that up is as you build that person, and of course, there's a training perspective here to think about, the more that you invest in that person on the front end, the more it will pay back you on the back end. In my wife decided to start playing tennis a couple of years ago. And in the health club that we were close to, we could go an hour or two a week. And it was fun and we made some progress, but it wasn't significant enough for really to hook us and to have something which we must go back to when we moved. We didn't go back to playing tennis. But if we played intensely and did a 1 week, 2 hours a day, 10 hours intensive training, would have got at that point enough momentum in us in order to keep us coming back, because we'd have proved and got much better in a short amount of time. And then the spaced repetition of an hour a week afterwards would have been much more powerful. So think about it the same way that people on your team, if you have them come and go, oh, just do that, I'll come back to you later, they're not going to be effective and you're going to get self-fulfilling prophecy because they're not going to be able to deliver at the level you want them to deliver. Super powerful because, again, you want to play long-term games with long-term people. If you're building something that is your legacy, you're building something that you really want to feel like you're proud of, and I believe that you do, then you got to think it from that perspective. And it might sound a bit grandiose. It's like, I don't even need that. Yeah, I just need someone to help with my calendar. I need to do some service work. I've got clients that are calling me. I've got like emails that's going on. I just need someone to help with that. Great. Give yourself the space, zoom out, hold a higher standard to make sure you're thinking about it from the biggest perspective. And from that point, we can start to build the team onwards from there.